All right, hello, Internet people. We're here in St. Louis, Missouri. Did I say St. Louis, Missouri? It's still St. Louis, Missouri. This is St. Joseph Radio Presents coming to you live, and we're about to go on the air in just seconds. So we're going to go quiet. We'll tell you about what's going on in a minute. But
welcome to the St. Joseph Radio Presents live program, broadcasting to you from the Rome of the West, St. Louis, Missouri. The program that for over 30 years has brought you eloquent speakers from across the globe to help explain, clarify, and evangelize the Catholic faith. Our program covers a variety of topics relating to current issues and occurrences in our daily lives. Now, with the aid of technology, we are able to bring the gospel message to the four corners of the world, where Christ himself did say, "Those who have ears ought to hear." It is our hope at St. Joseph Radio that through these programs we can help evangelize the world and change one soul at a time. Now, here is your host to introduce today's guest and topic.
well, thank you, Matt. I am your host today, Peter Karutz, and we are live here in St. Louis, Missouri, the Rome of the West, and this is the St. Joseph Radio Presents program coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri, the Rome of the West. And as promised, we have not only eloquent speakers, but we have my good friends, which is a little bit unusual. So on my left, I have Isom Williams.
Good afternoon, everyone.
There we are. And on my right, I have Gerron Houston.
Good afternoon.
And today, we're going to talk about the Knights of Peter Claver here in St. Louis. What did I say? Knights of Peter Claver, not the Knights of Columbus, the Knights of Peter Claver. So all of you over there were scratching your heads and saying, what in the world is that? Well, you're going to learn a little bit about this fine organization and what we are, what we do, who our patron saint is, and, you know, hopefully maybe even think about joining. It's a great organization. One of the things we do before we start, and I didn't warn these guys, so I'm gonna do it, is it's part of my contract. I get fired if we don't do it. But we always start with a prayer. So I'm going to make an executive decision and nominate myself to do that. So in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord, we give you thanks for everything. We give you thanks for the good, for the bad, because we know you have a great plan. We start this hour, this great endeavor, in prayer, and we dedicate it to your greater glory. Help us be better men, help us serve the church better, and be with us in all we do. We ask this through the intercession of Our Lady and through the intercession of St. Peter Claver, the Father, and Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Well, and you know, Isom, that's not too unusual, starting with a prayer. You know, at our meetings at the Knights of Peter Claver, the Knights of Peter, I should be more clear, shouldn't I? The Knights of Peter Claver and the Ladies Auxiliary. Did I say that right?
You said it correct.
And whenever we have a meeting, whether it be Zoom, whether it be in person, we start with a prayer.
Correct.
Yeah, you know, because every good endeavor should start.
We start off on the right foot.
Don't we?
Recognizing our Father
Yeah.
for what he's done for us and what he continues to do for us every moment of the day.
There you go. So let's get right into it. What in the world is what is the Knights of Peter Claver? Most folks have never even heard of it.
The Knights of Peter Claver and Ladies Auxiliary is a fraternal black organization in the Roman Catholic Church. It is the largest black fraternal organization in the Roman Catholic Church. It was created mainly because back in the day, blacks were not allowed to become Knights of Columbus. And this is how this organization got started. and why it got started. The organization is universal. It's housed in New Orleans, Louisiana. Our membership is surpassed, I believe at this point, about 50,000 members. It's probably more than that. We have councils and courts. The councils are the men's division. The women's division are called courts. There's a council and court in each parish that the organization is represented by. The organization's main purpose is to share its love, its respect, and its concerns. We do a lot of community work. We do a lot of work within our parishes. We do a lot of work to help the less fortunate, and that's our main function, helping the less fortunate in many ways, feeding the hungry, clothing those who are in need of clothes. We also help with education. We have various scholarships that are offered to young men and young women to help them with their goals in education.
And we're going to talk about some of those activities that we do. But one of the things you didn't mention, but I think the listeners are starting to get a feel for it. It's a very welcoming organization. I mean, it's one of the best things we can do as Catholics is be joyful and welcoming. I travel a great deal, and I wound up for several weeks in Wilmington, Delaware. And what do I do when I get to a new city? I go to the app on my phone and find out where the nearest Catholic church is. So there were several. I picked one, which was close. So I went there. I went to Mass. And before Mass, they asked if anyone, if this was the first time anyone was at Mass at this particular place. So, of course, I stand up. I raise my hand. And one of the ladies of Peter Claver came up and welcomed me and gave me a rosary. That's what we do as Catholics. We are welcoming. I was in a strange city that I'd never been before, but I was at my church, and I was with my knights and my ladies. That's what you were saying, Isom. This is universal, as in the church is universal.
Correct.
Yeah. And the other thing that has really impressed me is that although it may have started where blacks couldn't join the Knights of Columbus, you haven't been reciprocal in that arrangement. I am a Knight of Peter Claver, and I remember one day we were at a funeral. We were doing basically a wake, and there's a
funeral ritual,
and I'm brand new, and Isom told me go open the door for folks. So that's what I did. I went and opened the door for folks, and this one lady comes in, and I'm kind of tall, and she was kind of little itty bitty, and I opened the door and welcoming, and she says, "Well, isn't this nice? A Knight of Columbus is here at a Knight of Peter Claver's funeral." And I said, "Well, I'm a Knight of Columbus, but I'm also a Knight of Peter Claver." And she looks up at me, and she says, "Well, you're white." And I said, "Yes." And she says, "Well, do you know that you're white?" And I said, yes, I do." And she says, "Well, we're happy you're here." It is extraordinarily welcoming, and as you said, universal. It really is.
And the one main thing about the Knights of Peter Claver and the Ladies Auxiliary is we welcome everyone. It's not about color. It's not about titles. It's not about education. It's not about financial success. We accept members because, number one, we're all children of God, and we all should have the same purpose and mission in life, and that's to serve God and His church. And this is one of the main highlights of being a member of this organization.
And I'm going to get to you here in a second, Gerron, but what you keep reminding me, one of the things that was, we've all experienced a rather unusual time with COVID. And one of the things that Isom is also the president of what's known as the Central Committee, the St. Louis Central Committee, which is a conglomeration of all of the courts and councils here in St. Louis. But one of the things you emphasized is check on people, call folks.
It's important.
Yeah.
We should keep in touch with our brothers and sisters. It's the Christian thing to do. It's the Catholic thing to do. It's the right thing to do, because you just never know what's going on. And in the times that we're living in, it's so easy for someone to be going through something and you not know it. And they may need your help, if no more than just conversation. It's a good feeling. Everybody wants to feel like they are being appreciated and people are concerned about them. And that telephone call can make a person feel like a new person, especially when they have a lot of misfortune going in their life. You just never know. It's the right thing to do. Pick up the phone. It only takes a minute to say, "Hey, how you doing? You need something? I was just checking on you."
It's a tight organization. You know, my mom used to tell us when we were boys, my brother and I, you know, family doesn't wait to be asked for help. You know, you need to be handing your, extending your hand before you're asked, right?
Christ did it every day.
Every single day.
All the time. His hand was reaching for us, and we need to learn to do the same.
So I'll say Isom is older than I am. I'm older than dirt, but we have Gerron here, who is a very young man.
The baby.
The baby. I'm telling you.
I'm a little younger.
Yeah, a little. But tell me, how did you hear about the Knights of Peter Claver? How did you get involved in the Knights of Peter Claver?
So my parish is St. Elizabeth, Mother John the Baptist in North St. Louis. And when I moved back from Atlanta in 2007, my mother was attending that parish. And she was taking me, and I was kind of pulled away from church, once I got back. But she was going. It kind of brought me back to my old self. We grew up Catholic, and, I just started feeling the energy. So I started going and, started meeting people, and I met a lot of, got a shout out to Father Steve, love him, my shepherd, my brother. That's our pastor down there. And, with a lot of his guys in Tulich, some of the ladies came to me and was walking around with church, handing out applications. One particularly, for 2 years straight, kind of was.
Oh, it took you a while, huh? 2 years?
She was pretty consistent to give me an application, and it happened. And, I'm going to tell you, I haven't turned back since. It's changed me as a man. It changed my faith. As far as giving, understanding prayer, just praying with people, and it's a different, it's understanding how to love, how to just bring the love back. We in a real crucial time right now, and I had to give it up to my faith and the Knights of Peter Claver, but I was starting 2019, Mr. Isom, presented me with the offer once it was done through my parish. I almost walked out of initiation. I know he remembered.
Very well.
I almost walked out. I was in a rush that night, but, God set me there, and he told me, "You're not going nowhere." But it was the best decision I've made in my life right now.
Good for you.
And, the things that we do, what I've been exposed to since I've been a Knight is priceless right now.
Yeah, and one of the things we all know is that men are so important in the church, but we men tend not to do anything unless we are invited, right? Mm. You were invited, and maybe you were invited more than once.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
It was definitely a welcome, and I thank my church family. I thank you guys. I thank all the other courts and councils that have been involved with me with this, and I look for us to make history. So
I think we will, and you're about to hear how we are making history. But I want to talk about one other subgroup or two other subgroups of the organization: the junior knights and the junior ladies. And we're going to in just a minute. But first off, I'd like to remind everyone that you are listening to St. Joseph Radio Presents, coming to you live from St. Louis, Missouri, the Rome of the West. I'm your host, Peter Karutz, and the program is the Knights and the Ladies, Knights of Peter Claver and the Ladies Auxilary. I do not want to get that wrong. Here in St. Louis. I'm here in studio with Isom Williams and Gerron Houston. So I did just kind of take a little segue. We have the Knights and we have the ladies, but we also have the junior Knights and the junior ladies. And I know, Gerron, you have been involved with the junior Knights. What's that all about?
Yeah, so basically, when I got in, our parish, we had the youth group. And the youth group, a lot of the youth group were junior Knights and junior daughters. And I was introduced to that after I became a Knight. And what we do is we basically get all our juniors together. They have their own meetings and own, things that they do. But we get them together and we have fundraisers. We do outings, outreach, visit nursing homes, just like Isom was saying, make those phone calls to the shut-in. It's
and that's what we got to do. I was at your house with a gathering of the Knights,
right.
The junior Knights, I should say, and for one thing, oh my goodness, the ladies came and fed us.
Bless the ladies for the cooking.
Oh my goodness, I never wanted to leave.
Excellent job.
Never wanted to leave. But that is the time in life where we need to double down.
Yeah.
When we were boys, I don't know about you, when we were boys, faith was alive and it was real. Yeah. And I could see my guardian angel. At least I thought I could. But then you become a teenager and you got all these other things pulling you away. Well, we need to hang on too, and it's such a critical time. And the Knights and ladies are so wise to keep a hold of those young people. Tell me a little bit about
the organization is really hungry for young people, as is the church.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Both the church and our organization are hungry for men. And we're hungry for young people because, of course, that's the future of the organization. It's also the future of the church. Unfortunately, religion has taken a back seat in many, many households today. And we're trying very hard to work on how we can bring it back to the front of everyone's house. And it's a task, and it takes a lot of cooperation. It takes a lot of understanding. We live in a world today that is so different. We have a lot of things pulling at us, mostly negative. And it's really hard to understand that there is a God, and He is concerned, and He wants you to be happy and comfortable in this world. With all the negativity that's going on around us, the COVID, violence in the streets, it takes a lot of prayer. And I tell my council members all the time, prayer and patience is truly the key to getting through a lot of this. And it's easier said than done sometimes. It really is. But you have to maintain prayer in your life to be able to maintain the patience that's required to live in this world that we're in today.
Patience and prayer and doing. You know what? I remember an old saying. It's pray like it. Pray so hard. Pray like it all depends upon God, and work like it all depends upon you. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we did during the midst of COVID, you were mentioning it a moment ago, is we started. And this is kind of crazy, right? We started a new campaign. What in the world are we doing? So, Gerron, tell us about this new crazy campaign we started here in the midst of COVID.
Yeah, the midst of COVID, we started a brand new campaign last year. It was called the Sock Angels. And basically what Sock Angels consist of is we're getting socks donated from our parishes, from our parishioners, brand new socks. Me and Peter came up with an idea to put some boxes together. It's about a 5-minute process. We reach out to actual all of the parishes. St. Louis?
Yeah, we have about 200 parishes, but we hit 30 parishes.
Yeah,
tell them about the boxes. What do we wrap we wrap those boxes in?
So basically, the boxes were donated, which is a blessing. Everything is donated. Wasn't much financial to do with this, and that's literally God's work to have a lot of stuff that was donated to us for us to make this a successful campaign. But the boxes were actually wrapped in the blankets.
Yeah,
they are the
emergency blankets.
The emergency blankets, and I got them on Amazon. I was getting them by the hundreds for about a few dollars.
So our listeners, you have seen video and news stories when people are rescued from a ship that's sinking or they're in a desperate circumstance, and you have these what looks like almost a space age piece of aluminum foil, and they wrap it around. But the point is that it's really warm.
Yeah, it keeps them warm.
Very thin.
Yes, and it's very thin, and
very shiny.
and that was what caught the eye when we was coming up with this idea. People was like, we need something that's gonna catch the eye. So first thing I thought of was those blankets. Let's wrap the boxes. So we got the boxes wrapped. It's about a 5-minute process. We got a hold to our parishes. And we had a small committee formed. Everybody had their own little duties to do as far as reaching out to parishes and, getting pastors to sign off on this in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, and I don't want to be negative here, but there was a lot of negativity.
Yes, it was. I mean, it was a lot.
Churches closed.
Yeah. I mean, all the way to the point to where we was crazy if we thought that this was gonna happen, but we left it in God's hand, and not only did it happen, God blessed it in abundance.
In abundance, yeah. We went to. I was over at St. Peter and Paul's last November, and my wife and I had a little get together for all the ministers of hospitality, right? Mm-hmm. And we said, don't bring us anything, just bring some socks. So we thought, well, that would be kind of cool, right? And we brought them over to St. Peter and Paul, and they said they didn't have a single pair of socks to give to people.
Wow.
So we partnered up with St. Patrick's Center. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we could do it without them. I mean, what did they?
They were a blessing. I mean, St. Patrick's Center, we got to give it up to them. They are the vessel that makes this campaign successful. Last year we had 6 beneficiaries, which was 6 charities that we donated over 14,800 pair of socks to last year.
How many?
14,800 pair of socks.
Do you know how many 14,800 pair of socks are? And when we delivered these socks, these organizations, they had zero, nothing.
Right.
Gerron and I were over at St. Patrick's Center touring it, and other than our socks, they don't have a single pair.
Yeah.
Not a one. Not a one.
And that's why it makes socks to me so important. I mean, I look at it as the crown of the feet now. That's kind of how I see it, because it's a simple thing to collect. It's a simple thing to ask for, and it, to the less fortunate, it's definitely needed and was a plus for St. Patrick's Center.
So when we were all locked down in COVID in our nice warm houses and basements and whatnot, this is the summertime. It wasn't. It was too warm, I guess. But we talked about this. We said, in the wintertime, these homeless folks are going to be cold, COVID or not.
Right.
And I'll tell you that there's nothing like a warm pair of socks when you have a cold night. And the other thing is the homeless don't only use them for their feet; they use them for their hands as well.
Yeah.
We all have nice gloves. Yeah. Homeless folks don't have that.
And that's why I say, I figure if we had 30 parishes last year, we would only get a few hundred per parish.
Yeah.
Peter, we was counting thousands of pairs of socks in our houses, man.
Absolutely.
This year, it's a blessing. This is the second year. We had a goal to double our our take, and we up to what, over 22,000 parishes in the state?
Just top 23,000. So as Gerron said, we reached out to new parishes, but for a few who reached out and said, hey, we want to do it again. And it gives other parishes an opportunity to participate in helping the poor, right?
Exactly.
All it is a pair of socks, and that's what we did. We put these boxes. We kind of recycled the boxes a little bit, recycled the signs. August. So from now on, just remember, August is Sock
Month.
Angel Month.
Yep.
Yeah, Sock Angel Month, and we're at 23,000. We still have a couple of parishes that just couldn't do it during that period of time, so they're going to do it now. Isom is the head of the Central Committee of the Knights of Peter Claver, and he was a great influence. Actually, he put the committee together, and he also guided us. See, my bright idea on what we should call this is sock it to the poor. And Isom said, this is a colossally bad idea. so he put me straight. But anyway, what we do, there's a website too.
Yes, the website is sockangel.org, and you can go on the website. You can donate any type of financial.
Just $5.
I think it's $5, and you can get. And I actually have my email address on there, so if anybody wants to donate socks, you can reach out to me or Peter. Actually, through this.
Right, and through this radio station, too. We'll give out the phone number a couple of times here. If you're interested in either becoming a Knight of Peter Claver or participating in the sock drive next year in August, you can give us a call. We'll give you contact information. Our number here is 636-447-6000, 636-447-6000. And, of course, you can always get a copy of this program or any program that we do here on the radio. So, Gerron, next year, what happens with Sock Angel?
So next year, once we get started, hopefully the committee can get a little bigger. The committee started small the first year, got bigger this year, and hopefully we can get a little bigger committee. And it's got to be. We looking for success.
That's it. And it might go to other cities too.
I put an iron in the fire in Kansas City this past summer. With one of the Grand Knights there. So it may touch other cities.
I think it will. So you are listening to St. Joseph Radio Presents. The music means we're going to take a short break. That's just so you all can go and tell other people to join into this conversation. So please go and tell a brother and a friend that you're learning about the Knights of Peter Claver, not the Knights of Columbus, the Knights of Peter Claver and the Ladies Auxiliary here on St. Joseph Radio Presents. So go tell a friend, and we'll be back in just 2 minutes.
Looking for a way to teach your children about our Catholic faith? Colby Academy has the solution, offering a curriculum that is loyal to the magisterium, classical, Ignatian, flexible, and affordable. Colby can help with all your homeschooling needs. We offer a wide range of services, including live online courses for those looking for assistance teaching their students, recorded self-paced courses for those who want teacher instruction while needing the flexibility to move at their own pace, and traditional homeschool courses for maximum flexibility and home education. Our support services include advising for parents, record keeping and transcript services, a grading service, standardized testing, and guidance and college counseling. For more information, check out their website at kolbe.org. That's KOLBE.org. Or give them a call. Area code 707-255-6499. That's 707-255-6499. It's Colby Academy.
St. Joseph Catholic Radio is proud to announce the launch of SJEN TV, the St. Joseph Evangelization Network. SJEN TV is a premier online Catholic broadcasting network providing quality Catholic programming 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have programming such as live studio interviews, St. Joe's Java speaker presentations, current Catholic issues, and the Pro-Life series. We're featuring the many talented speakers out of Orange County, California, and this Archdiocese of St. Louis, Missouri. Auxilary, including Professor John Gresham, Father James Mason, Karen Nokemper, Rick Hollerick, Bill Federer, and many more. To review the program list, go to sjen.tv or on Roku, SJEN TV. All this programming is free, and we are welcoming sponsorship of new programs. Find out more at sjen.tv.
Well, welcome back to St. Joseph Radio Presents, coming to you live from St. Louis, Missouri, the Rome of the West. I'm your host, Peter Karutz, and we're live in studio with Isom Williams and Gerron Houston, and we're talking about the Knights of Peter Claver here in St. Louis. You know, one just side note, we didn't talk about who benefited from all these socks. You know, look, we're all familiar with the St. Patrick's Center. Well, but St. Peter and Paul also benefited last year. This year we have Mary Grove, which helps with they help and service children who've been affected by drugs, right? And helps them to get themselves back on their feet. And also Our Little Haven and Our Lady Annie Malone and Our Lady's Inn. So there's a lot.
Nursing homes.
So and the need is great. So keep August in mind. August is Sock Angel Month. Now,
and this goes through till the end of October.
Right.
Every year.
Yeah.
August through October. So there's plenty of time.
Yeah, and that's what we find. You know, a parish isn't only waiting for us in August to do this. They got other things going on. So we can be a little flexible too, but keep this in mind. But, you know, one of the things, we talked about a little bit about the organization. We talked about what we do. We're going to talk more about that. But Isom, tell us a little bit about our patron saint, St. Peter Claver.
St. Peter Claver was a Jesuit priest and was very concerned about issues of slavery. He took it upon himself to get involved with slaves and keep them safe and protect them from, unfortunately, all the many things that they had to go through. And this is why this organization is named after him, because of his love and compassion for those who were just going through so much trauma in their life. And we continue to carry that with us, trying to do the right thing for Christ, the church, our neighbors. And this is another reason this sock drive has become so beautiful, because it helps everyone understand the need to help each other. Sometimes we get absorbed in our own personal concerns and we forget that there are people that are less fortunate than we are. And as humans, we take a lot for granted. We have 2 loaves of bread and we're crying for a 3rd loaf, and we forget there's someone that doesn't have 1 loaf of bread. We have to be mindful of that. In this organization, we feed the hungry. We do what we can as far as scholarships for our young people to keep them on the right path of education. We help people with counseling, alcohol, drugs. The door is open for what the Knights and Ladies of Peter Claver do. It's all about being a Christian. It's all about being a brother and a sister to each other. And this is something this organization is very strong on. And we try to amplify the necessity of that in our communities.
And our patron saint is a perfect example of that. You know, he was a very well-to-do man in Spain. He became a priest, and he felt this calling to help the slaves. And what he did is he literally moved halfway around the world, and he plopped down in Cartagena in South America, where the slave trade was huge. And he literally greeted and ministered to these slaves who were coming off this journey that was horrific, to the point many didn't even survive. They come off the boats, they're sick. I always picture him, with his stole on, kneeling in the mud, bringing food and medicine and some degree of comfort. right? He was a man of means and wealth, and he came to serve those who had absolutely nothing.
He was willing to share.
He was willing to share, right? And word is he baptized over 300,000 slaves. And not only that, he was able to be a bridge a little bit. He was able to improve their conditions. He was able to do so much. Anyway, so we have a great patron saint, and we are talking about some of the things that we actually do. One of the things that I know started in St. Matthew's Parish, where Isom is at, is the backpack drive. Tell us a little bit about the backpack drive.
We've been doing that at St. Matthew's for, I want to say, at least 6 years, and it has continued to grow. We present the kids in the neighborhood with backpacks, toiletries, and anything else that we can come up with to help them get through their school years comfortably as possible without any added stress. Because we all know going to school can be stressful, especially if you don't have what you see your classmates have. And we've tried very hard to make this as stress-free as possible for our young people to go to school.
And this backpack, that's how it started. It was just a backpack. And then, we had the backpack, and we included supplies, and a lot of it is donated. Almost all of it is donated. But it's set up in the parking lot of St. Matthew's, and it's turned into a real community affair. The last time I was there, it was not only the backpack. The backpack was the last item that you got, right? The line to get into the parking lot went down the street and around the block. And when people came in, they got vaccines. They got a uniform if they wanted.
It's a block party.
Yeah.
It's an actual block party. We have hot dogs. We have soda. Music is there. It's a big party for the kids in the neighborhood to get them ready mentally to go back to school comfortably.
Right. So that's one of the things we do. Gerron, you were talking about the Walk for the Poor that your parish does.
Yeah, so our parish is actually a St. Vincent de Paul thing, the Walk for the Poor, but a lot of the knights and ladies of Peter Claver are also involved in that. And we pair up with our sister parish, which is St. Clement of Rome, and it's been a great thing. We didn't have it this past year because of COVID. Mm-hmm. Our parish didn't join, but it still transpired. It still took place with them as far as St. Vincent de Paul. But I look at it as my church family. We're a big part of a lot of organizations. You know, as far as outreach, and I can't say more about it as far as giving. Giving is key to me. Giving puts the energy back in us to start the love, because the love is gone.
Yeah, and I'm going to shift gears just a little bit. We'll come back to the giving a little bit, but in all honesty, we're here in St. Charles, Missouri. I got in my car and made sure the temperature was okay, and I got here, and I think you gentlemen did the same thing, right? But in folks in poorer circumstances, going somewhere is a huge deal. Yeah. It's a huge deal. Yeah. Once a year, the Knights of Peter Claver, we have the trip to Our Lady of the Snows, right?
Correct. And that's a beautiful thing. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to do it for 2 years because of the virus. But hopefully next year we'll be able to get back into that. It's one thing that I hope everyone understands, and that is I'm a firm believer in the more you do for your church and for your community, the more you are telling God how much you appreciate what he has done for you. That's very important, because being realistic, God doesn't have to do anything for you. But because we are his children, he takes care of us, and we have a moral and Christian obligation to do the same with each other. That's the only way it can be done. You have to look after each other, because whether you want to admit it or not, we're all brothers and sisters in the eyes of God.
That's right. Yeah, and that's
Amen.
exactly what we're doing. For example, in the trip to Our Lady of Snows, if I want to go there, I get in my car and I go. But many folks can't. In this trip, we're calling it a trip, but Isom, we have to organize a bus, you have to organize a price, you have to organize a meeting place, all of this stuff.
A lot of behind the scenes stuff has to take place to make it happen.
Sure, and as a result, folks have that added faith journey, if you will, into the Christmas season.
Spirit, right.
Yeah.
And it's hard for a lot of people. Thanksgiving and Christmas is depressing for a lot of people. You don't realize how depressing it can be for people because you're not one of those that are depressed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, COVID puts us behind in a lot of these things, but we're still trying to do it. But we also have a program we do at Thanksgiving. Isom, tell us a little bit about
the
that.
knights and ladies, for the last 4 years, we've had a special Feed the Hungry for Thanksgiving. On Thanksgiving Day, actually, it has been housed at St. Matthew's in our family center. We've gotten unbelievable cooperation from various vendors with their donations of turkeys, hams. Everything is prepared, and when it's delivered to St. Matthew's, all we have to do is serve up the plates. And people are able to eat inside and share their Thanksgiving with other people, or if they wish, they can get it to go and take it home. Many desserts, plenty to eat. We have music to make everyone as comfortable as they possibly can be so they can appreciate Thanksgiving as we do, because Thanksgiving is for everyone and everyone should be able to enjoy it.
I think everyone's starting to get the idea. So the Knights of Peter Claver and the Ladies Auxiliary, we have a few goals. One is for us to grow in our faith. Mm-hmm. For us to have the fraternal camaraderie and whatever the other word is for females, I don't know what it is. But look, I'm a guy. That's what I'm looking at. But it's needed. We need to hang around. We need to be with other good Catholics. I mean, I'll just talk for us men. We men, we hang around a lot. I'm not talking about us, but men in general, right? And usually it's to do bad things, right? This is an opportunity for
to do
good
something
men
good.
To do good. And it isn't, I don't want to be confusing here, but we're not doing this to help the poor or people in need. We are. Mm. But what it really does is it changes us.
Exactly. And that is prime, because I tell you all the time, Peter, I'm sainthood now, but I haven't always been this saint that I am today. So this definitely works. It's the love, it's God's work. And once you get a hold of feeling God's work and feel the results of it, nothing financial is better.
It's not about self.
It's not about.
It's about helping other people. And please understand that any Catholic man is welcome to join this organization. Any Catholic man can join this organization. Please understand that. It's not about color. It's about being a Catholic man.
And I'll tell you, as I travel around a great deal. My wife and I did a little bit of the Camino a couple of years ago. Maybe we'll do it next year too. But we have Mass every night. And that's the one thing became so evident to me about the Catholic Church. I would go to Mass at night, and there are people from Korea, the Netherlands, there were Japanese, there were Germans, there were some folks from Nigeria. There were people from the United States, because all over the world, because that is, we are, as you said, God's children. So as long as we're talking about becoming a Knight of Peter Claver, tell us how in the world you became a Knight of Peter Claver. You've been a Knight of Peter Claver for a short time.
Years. I've been in the organization, I want to say about 40 years. One of the knights in my church talked to me about it and gave me an application. I prayed on it, thought about it, gave him the application back. I've been in Council 150, Father Zimmerman Council 150. The whole time I've climbed the ladders with hard work, a lot of prayer, a lot of grinning and bearing, turning the other cheek. You're dealing with human beings. You have many personalities. Everybody sometimes feel that they are right. You have to learn how to digest all of that in a comfortable manner and move on. I'm very glad I'm in the organization. I wouldn't leave the organization for any reason. It's a fulfillment that makes me personally feel whole. As a Catholic man, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It really is.
So if you're thinking about joining, you can get some more information just by calling us here at 636-447-6000, 636-447-6000. And we would be happy to put you in touch with some folks and think about joining. That would be great. So this is St. Joseph Radio Presents, coming to you live from St. Louis, Missouri, the Rome of the West. I'm your host, Peter Karutz. I'm here with Knight Isom Williams and Knight Gerron Houston. And by the way, Knight Isom Williams is the Grand Knight of our Council 150, and he's also the president of the St. Louis Central Committee, which is an organization of all the knights and ladies, councils and courts here in St. Louis. You know, I'm just going to digress for just a moment. I'll tell you one of the other blessings that I found in the Knights of Peter Claver, and you alluded to it before, prayer, right? I went to, when we could get together for meetings, we would have our meeting over at St. Matthew, and then we would go to Mass at 9:30.
9:30.
And I'll tell you, the Mass is the Mass no matter the same wherever you go around the world, but there are unique ways of worshiping. And this was such a tight-knit community. There's certain small T traditions that we have at St. Matthew's. For example, when we say we have the prayers of the faithful, there's an invitation to pray for the sick, and everybody starts talking. And you hear this great murmur of voices of people, and pray for those who've passed away. Again, this great murmur of voices. And at the end, we all pray together. We all say a Hail Mary together. And at the Gospel, the Alleluia verse goes on and on and on, because quite literally, the priest brings the Word of God out into the aisles, and people reach out and they touch it, right?
And you feel it.
You feel it.
You feel it.
You feel it. The sign of peace. What's that? Do we have to do that again someday? But the sign of I think I might get arrested if I hug somebody these days. But the sign of peace goes on for a while too, because it's very communal.
It's a celebration within itself.
It's a celebration within itself. So one thing about, as Isom said, we're the universal church, but think about coming and celebrating Mass over at St. Matthew's down on Sarah Street, or you're at St. Elizabeth's,
or St. Elizabeth, Mother John the Baptist, off of Shreve.
Tell us a little about your parish. Do you have any other unique traditions, small tree traditions?
So our parish known for the cooking. We have card parties.
I just educated him about an affair at his parish. He knew nothing about chili cook-off.
That was a little before my time, but Isom did bring that to my attention. We were known for the chili cook-off. I don't remember, it wasn't a part then, but definitely I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So you can lobby for that there, Isom.
And St. Matthew's, before the pandemic, we served breakfast.
Ah, that's right.
Every Sunday before Mass, you could go to our family center and get breakfast, or after Mass and get breakfast. Our Masses are every Sunday at 9:30, and we also have a Saturday Mass at 5 o'clock.
But we're not doing the breakfast right now.
Because of the pandemic, you have to stop at McDonald's and pick up something.
Our Mass is at 10 o'clock on Sunday. At 9 o'clock on Sundays and 4 o'clock on Saturdays.
And then, of course, once a year we have St. Peter Claver Day, where we go to various parishes. It's a different parish. It's changed. It used to be at St. Matthew's. Now we're going to do a different parish
We're
every
going to
year.
do them in rotation.
Yeah.
We had our Claver Day celebration a couple of Sundays ago. It was at the Rock on Grand and Cook. And next year is scheduled for St. Nick's downtown.
Yeah, and the Rock is St. Alphonsus, the
St.
Rock,
Alphonsus, yeah.
right there on Grand Avenue. It's a beautiful, beautiful church.
Not as beautiful as St. Matthew's,
No,
but
no,
it's
of course
okay.
not. Yeah. We have our own personal prejudices here. But I don't know if you all remember, but it was struck by lightning a couple of years back, and
Serious fire.
serious fire. And I actually, my company was involved in the rebuild, and I think they did a great job. So St. Matthew's is better looking, I know it, but
They're all the house of God.
That's
They're
right.
all beautiful.
And that's what we do as Catholics. We give the best we have to God. That's why we make our churches beautiful. That's why we use the best materials. And I can tell you, when we rebuilt this place, it was hard to find the craftsmen to actually do it. Why? Because it's not four walls. I mean, we're here in the presence of God to worship God, to give Him our best.
We have to hold ourselves to the
Right. And the technology has changed the building stuff. These churches are old with the high Gothic ceilings and all of that, and they don't build churches like that anymore. Especially with the beautiful stained glass windows.
Yeah. Last week we had something called evangelization moments. It's an opportunity for us here to just share with other folks what we can do to help spread the word. Gerron, sometimes we feel called, and I think if we feel called, we got to act, and so many people don't. I mean, you're acting, you're working awful hard in this organization.
I mean, I do what I can. I mean, this is my body, my time, and I turn it all over to God once it's time to do His work. And honestly, even here at the radio station this morning, I didn't write a script out or nothing. I was like, it's in God's hand, and He leads. I can't do nothing without Him leading right now.
Well, some people hear, but they don't listen.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That makes a big difference as well. You have to really
comprehend.
Listen. Right.
Yeah.
Makes a difference.
And so many people think about all that should be done and wait for somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
And they sit back and criticize.
But we as Knights of Peter Claver, we're doers.
Right.
We're actually doing. I got to tell you one more story about the Sock Angels. So it's one of the ladies on the committee, Lady Brenda Marr. She just dove into it with both feet, right?
Yes, indeed.
And I remember I was over at her house dropping off some boxes or posters or whatever it is, and she's smarter than the rest of us. She put a box on the outside of her house, and the next thing you know, there's socks being delivered. But she called me, and I'm calling her back, and I said, Lady Brenda, I hear some background noise. I said, what? Where are you at? And she says, well, I'm in the hospital. I had a heart attack. She was in the hospital, and she was still getting it done.
Right.
I mean, getting it done. Sometimes we all think we know what happiness is, but there's a difference between happiness and joy. She is a joyful woman,
yes,
right? She's not thinking about herself. Oh, woe is me! Here I am in the hospital, and she's still working hard for other people.
And she said it was good therapy for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it took her mind off of what she was going through.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So that's what we do. That's the Knights and the Ladies of Peter Claver, the Junior Knights and the Junior Daughters. Right. So if this is something you're thinking that God might be calling you to do, then give us a call at 636-447-6000. 636-447-6000. Well, that music means that the hour has slipped by again. So please tell people about this program. Every week we have different speakers, different priests, and then sometimes just regular folks like us. One of our goals is just to be able to spread the word. As baptized Christians, we are called we have the great commissioning to go out and spread the word throughout the world. And that means in our little world, too, to our neighbors and our brothers and our sisters and our friends and our family. Spread the word. Amen. Well, welcome. You all are welcome to come back anytime. I hope you do. Please.
Thank you.
Go out and spread the word and call us and let us know if we can be of service to you, too.
Most definitely.
Pray for us because we're praying for you. So God bless you all.
You've been listening to St. Joseph Radio Presents from the Rome of the West, St. Louis, Missouri. If you would like to join us in our evangelization efforts, you can order a copy of today's broadcast or any of our past programs by visiting us on our website, stjosephradio.net. That's SAINT, josephradio.net. Or call us 636-447-6000. It's all at your fingertips to help us evangelize the world, bringing the good news of Christ to everyone you meet and change one soul at a time. Thank you for your prayers and support. Until next time, may God bless you and your family. This has been a presentation of St. Joseph Radio Presents.